today what we're going to be doing is something very special. I want to show you exactly how I make my seasonings and spices for any meal that I desire. And you can mix up different combinations to make it taste exactly how you would like it to taste. Let me show you a few of the ingredients I'll be using today. This seasoning I'm going to make is going to have peppers, onions, garlic, tomatoes, and a couple of habaneros. Alright guys, now first thing you want to do is you want to get your ingredients and you want to start to cut them up into pieces, into small pieces so that they can dehydrate nice and quickly. And also you want to make sure that you remember to save your seeds. Look at those nice healthy seeds. It would be such a waste just to throw those out. Basically it doesn't really matter how you cut it. As you can see, this pepper is going kind of bad. So this is another great thing because you can use it for something like this instead of just tossing it out just because it has a few wrinkles. Why not go ahead and use it for some seasoning or even some hot sauce maybe. What you want to do is just cut it up in nice pieces. I prefer to cut them up like that. They dry fairly quickly. And you got your garlic here. With your garlic, I just like to break them apart, separate the cloves, take that main top layer off. And when I run across a nice big healthy one like this is one I would like to save the plant. The bigger the better. The bigger the better. The more the chances you will have a nice garlic plant. Nice strong plant will come. So a lot of these small ones like this, these will be perfect for the seasoning. Also, another ingredient I have is turmeric. It's another great item we can throw in this seasoning mix to give it some extra oomph. Okay, so now we have our garlic separated. And when I dehydrate the garlic pieces, I usually prefer to leave that outer skin on, because as they dry, that outer skin will loosen up and it'll peel right off and it'll be much easier to manage then. But halfway through the process of dehydrating, I like to peel the paper off, then I cut them in half. They help release some of that moisture inside of it, because if you don't cut it open, this thing will be drying for days. Alright, next thing we got is our habaneros. What you want to do is just pop that little tab off, pop that off there, and I like to just cut these in half. You also want to be careful because they're quite spicy. Since I've cut into this habanero, it's going to be fire all over the end of my knife. So you want to be mindful of how you're handling these things. I like to cut these in half. That's perfect size for dehydrating. They don't take them long at all. They have a nice thin wall. They don't have a thick wall like these sweet peppers here. Then the tomatoes. Just like to cut these up into slices, nice size slices. You gotta remember, the thinner, the faster they'll dry. Well, this one's a little mushy. Oh yeah, that one's going kind of bad. I don't think I'm gonna use this one. But basically, it's all up to you what ingredients you want to put in your seasoning. There's a variety of different things you can use, and they all produce a unique flavor. Once they're dehydrated, they may taste completely different than the way they tasted before. We got onion here. I got a few onions right here I already cut up not long ago, so I'm just going to use these. Go ahead and get rid of these. Guys, so now that we got our ingredients cut up and they're ready to go into the dehydrator, I want to talk about this dehydration process just a little bit and show you what I'll be using to dehydrate these vegetables. What I have here is Aroma Professional. I've had this thing for a little over 2 years and it's always got the job done. It has a very simple temperature setting, high, low, on and off. It tells you right here, it has a little chart to show you what temperature would be best for certain things that you could dry in here. And it has quite a few trays. I have a few things in here already. So what I'll be doing is using some of these just to show you how I do it. These are serrano peppers, hot peppers. Got a couple of apples. I just threw those in there just to snack on a little later. couple of tomatoes in here. Alright, and what you want to do is you want to lay your vegetables out on a tray and leave a nice little bit of space in between. You can also use an oven also to dry out your vegetables, but it will be a process a little different. But the onions, I like to slice them so thin, I just lay them over top of each other. It doesn't really matter if they're overlapping, they still are dry quite well. Alright guys, check out these serrano peppers. They've been dried. They're nice and crunchy. This is how they all will turn out once they've dried. You can tell they're dry. It'll be a nice crunch. There'll be no resistance at all. If there's still moisture in it, it's not ready. So, depending on your settings, that all depends on how long you want to leave it to dry inside of your dehydrator. I usually have a pretty busy day, so what I usually do is just set it all on low and just let it go until I remember to check on it. And it's usually quite effective. If it's still a little moist, this piece here is a little moist, but the rest of it seems to be dry. If it's a little moist, that most likely means it was a little thicker of a piece and it didn't dry. All you have to do is throw it back in there and let it keep drying. Alright guys, once we've got our vegetables dehydrated, crushed up, and they're all nice and crunchy, what I like to use is a meat tenderizer. Alright, we got our vegetables in there. You can see some of the stuff. I've started crushing these up a little. Got our serranos in there, tomatoes, garlic. See how that garlic looks once it's dried. Peppers, tomatoes, sweet peppers. You can see all of it blended all in together. And the proper thing you would use for something like this would be a mortar and pestle. It's an old Stone Age tools that were used to break things down into a paste or a powder. But what I have handy is a meat tenderizer. So this is what I like to use because it gets the job done quite well. What I usually do is put it in a nice round bowl and then I just get in there, crush it up. It usually takes me about 10 or 15 minutes, but it'll finally all crushed down to powder. If it's not crushing properly, that may mean you need to dehydrate it a little more and let it dry out a little more. So if you don't have a mortar or pestle and you don't have a blender, this would be the best thing to use. Other than a meat tenderizer or a mortar and pestle, the other thing to use would be a blender. But I find blenders to be quite messy unless you have one especially meant for seasonings and powders. But see, this is what we get after crushing everything together for an amount of time. Nice fine seasoning. And the aroma is so magnificent. You can smell everything inside of you. Can smell the tomatoes, and you can smell the peppers and everything. It's just so amazing. I have a couple of recipes that I have used these homemade seasonings on that I will be sharing with you. But you can use these any way you like. I have seasoned chicken with these. I have seasoned pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. There's many things you can season with this. You can put it on a roast, tenderloin, anything. Whatever floats your boat. Like I said, you can put in different ingredients to make it taste the way you would like it to taste. And nothing left to do from here but to put it in a safe place, nice and dry place where it can stay dry, because you don't want any moisture to get to it or it will completely ruin your seasoning. So you want to keep it dry. Alright guys, and that's exactly how I like to make my seasonings and spices, just to perk up my meals a little. If you're interested in finding a great dehydrator, I'll be sure to leave a link where you can find this awesome dehydrator where you can get started ASAP. Also, I got these nice little containers that I like to use to put my seasonings in. They come with the tops, both sides, like a seasoning, regular seasoning container, and this is a great storage container for your seasonings because they stack right together. Also, be sure to leave this link in the description. Alright everybody, with that being said, hope everybody has a wonderful and blessed day. I want you all to know that we can't grow unless we all grow. I grow, you grow, we all grow.